I've been reading a few books recently about how states formed, and I wanted to put together a history of how states began in the world of Elush, but I kept having to go further and further back in history, so I figured the best way to do this is to go right back to the start and work forwards. World building the distant past without getting too far into spec bio territory is hard, because apparently a lot of human evolution is hinged on the exact geography and history of our world, and for this world at least I still want it to be fairly similar to ours. So we'll start with the geography. I find it really hard to make maps, because the placing of the continents always looks kind of unnatural to me. In the end, for this one, I used an old Earth supercontinent and flipped it for a general idea of natural looking continent placement. Then I moved the land masses around until they had the characteristics I was already looking for. One continent ended up looking pretty similar to Africa, which works out well because human evolution might be dependent on having an Africa-like environment. The early humans of this world will evolve around here. They live in the savannas, mostly eating plant material, hunting small animals, and scavenging the kills of other predators. The savanna is dry and hot for most of the year, and so there are wildfires every so often. They notice that the fires chase small animals out of cover, which makes them easy to catch. And if you leave some meat near the fire, it'll taste better. And after the fire dies down, some of the plants grow back better. So when a fire naturally starts, humans soon try to spread it. They figure out ways to contain fire for when they next want to use it, and eventually they figure out how to make their own. This is quite a big deal. It's now much easier for them to hunt. The same amount of hunting can give them more usable nutrients, and their activity is no longer limited to daylight hours. Humans and other hominids have had stone tools for ages, but this is the first step to having more control over the environment than any other animal. Not long after this, they start to develop language. Part of the reason it's good that this continent is Africa-like is that I want to borrow the Sahara pump. Basically, over tens of thousands of years, because of the axial tilt of the Earth, the monsoon cycle moves north and south. So this area in the north spends, say, 50,000 years as a desert, and then the monsoon cycle switches. The rainfall increases just a bit, and it becomes a fertile savanna. Species move across the savanna while it's wet, and are separated when it dries out, and when two groups of the same species are separated, they'll adapt differently. One group of humans gets pushed to the south of the continent, which has a bit more temperature variation. They deal with this by learning to make clothes, increasing their use of fire, creating shelters, and even more cooperation with each other. And eventually these humans will outcompete the ones in the north. The humans in the north didn't really change that much, except they now had a smaller territory. So far this is pretty similar to our Earth, but here's a part where the Elush humans diverge. On Earth, humans domesticate the grey wolf somewhere in Europe. In the world of Elush, humans instead domesticate the painted wolf, or the African hunting dog. Honestly, I just think these dogs are adorable and I want them in my world. But in our world, early humans competed with the painted wolf, stealing their kills, and so the painted wolves tended to avoid humans, which made them pretty hard to domesticate. The wolves in Europe had never seen a hominid species before, so they were just curious about us. But in this world, the painted wolf evolved in the north of this continent, and they didn't end up competing with humans so much as with other predators. So when the desert became savanna again, and the humans from the south spread upwards, the painted wolves didn't recognise them as threats. By this point, humans had started intensely altering the landscape. I'm borrowing this from a lot later in history, but I don't think there's a reason earlier humans couldn't have done this. There are structures called desert kites that essentially funnel prey animals into small areas to be killed. When humans start setting these up in the savannah, the painted wolves take notice. The humans don't mind too much if painted wolves start hanging around and nabbing the odd antelope, because they're getting plenty of meat out of it anyway, and the presence of the wolves helps to drive the prey forwards. And when the humans are cooking food and eating, the wolves hang around attracted by the smell of cooking meat, and the humans tolerate their presence because they can warn against larger predators. And the wolves learn that if they make certain expressions towards the humans, sometimes the humans will even cook some meat for them. And so the humans and the painted wolves kind of domesticate each other. And there is a little spec bio in here after all. When a painted wolf wants to suggest a hunt, it sneezes, and the other members of its pack will sneeze back if they want to hunt too. They'll only actually go on the hunt if a certain amount of them agree. When the painted wolves start hanging out with humans, they'll sneeze to communicate with the other wolves, But if a human joins in with the sneezing, then they'll get to go hunting more. And so, over time, the people of this world, or at least the people who are descended from this population in the north, contagiously sneeze, just like people in our world contagiously yawn.